This video contains language, mild violence, and sexual themes. Viewer discretion is advised. There are so many great modern video games. Impressing their franchises, reimbursing them, making them have a great comeback, or making them have one of the best track records ever. But then there's that one game. That one game that can either kill a franchise or people can ignore. My name is The Truth About, and today I'm here with the top 10 worst games in great franchises. If you have any games that I did not mention on this list, go ahead and put it in the comment section below. I may revisit this topic in the future, but anyway, before I actually start the list, I forgot to mention that, I'm only going to be doing one per franchise. So, yeah, don't expect multiple CDI games to be on here. Number 10.
Now, with PlayStation, you will believe an ass this fat can fit into a package this small.
I'm not fat. I'm getting in shape.
You better.
South Park, the video game. 1999 PlayStation 1 version. Before Matt and Trey created the critically acclaimed Stick of Truth, they created this piece of crap. But what made this piece of crap number 10 was because it was Matt and Trey's first attempt at making a video game. But compared to this and to the now current Stick of Truth and the upcoming Fractured Butthole, this first South Park game wasn't really that good. And it had all horrible controls, very, very foggy graphics, and the graphics for the PlayStation 1 version looks like a even down-rendered N64 title. Now, would I recommend this game if you pick it up? No. But if you are interested in finding information on it, I'd recommend you go search it up. The game has a weird history, and I feel like the game never really is talked about because of how crappy it is. That is why South Park PlayStation 1 Edition is number 10 on this list. Number 9. Pokemon channel for the GameCube. So let me explain. What is this game anyway? Why does this game exist? I don't know. Not a lot of people knows. It's ranked 5 on IGN. I've looked for even worse games, but there's nothing worse than this. This is just you basically watching TV. And well, their goal is Professor Oak wants you to be your test audience and test every single TV channel out. It's kind of like a TV watching simulator, or if you live in America, Average American Family Simulator, or 30-year-old single man simulator. I don't really understand, but the point is, the only reason why you're playing this game is just so you can watch all the episodes of the Pichu Bros, which there's only 2. And so, boy, I have a lot to talk about with the Pichu Bros. The Pichu Bros is about, like, 2 Pichus who run around the city with their friends Smushum, Teddy Ursa, and Magby to save the city from a group of Squirtles that are actually the shop leads in this series, and also Wobbuffet and Meowth. I look at the series and I think, what? This looks like one of those like Pikachu specials, but it's the main point of the game. Let me bet that like Nintendo was thinking when they were creating this game, like, oh my gosh, you know what would be awesome? Is because really we can't show the Pikachu specials anymore because not a lot of our older fans like it, but maybe our younger fans would really enjoy a video game that's all about watching TV, because TV is the coolest thing in fashion these days. Well, I don't really understand. the whole point of it. But the Pichu Bros is just a little cute animation that Pokemon made. If they were to release it if they were to release part 1 with one movie and then part 2 with another movie, it would be kind of cute. But to see a full-fledged game by Nintendo be created just for the Pichu Bros, it's really not the best advertising that you've done with you, Pokemon, and Wooper's still being as badass as he is. This game is number 9 because it's kind of a pointless game. There's no point in playing it. It's just the only point is just to watch the Pichu Bros. But you realize you can already watch that crap on YouTube. So there's actually 0 point to get this game. And that is why Pokemon Channel is number 9. Jeez, that was a very long explanation for a game that's just about sitting down on a TV. God. Number 8 contains violent, sexual content, and language. Viewer discretion is advised.
They used to tell stories of a man who saved the world. A man whose very presence sent aliens running back to their motherships. A man who disappeared without a trace. When the invaders came back, they came back angry.
Duke Nukem Forever. I had to put it on the list because it didn't irritate critics. Some critics praised the game for looking nice at the time. But it was critically panned by fans because of the annoying humor and the disgustingness behind it. The reason why I put Duke Nukem at number 8 is because Duke Nukem Forever was in development for 11 years. People wanted the game to have better expectations. But for them, it was just a generic shooter with horrible humor. It might have Duke Nukem in it, but they didn't really like Duke Nukem's modern-day humor. They thought they were going to modify it, but they kept it at the same 90-esque that he was back then. If this was released in the early 2000s, it would look great. But not a lot of people really want Duke back. They just want Duke to be done correctly. Like, when I saw the 2015 Doom, I thought that was a great representation of what it looked like in 1996. Duke Nukem Forever, however, really does not look like what it did back in 1998. Back in 1998, it was a phenomenal game. Duke Nukem 3D was popular. But my hope is that if they're ever going to bring back Duke Nukem, is that they bring him back the way that Doom brought back Doom guy. And that is why Duke Nukem Forever is number 8 on this countdown.
Coochie coochie. Hail to the king, baby.
What about the game, Duke? Was it any good?
Yeah, but after 12 years, it should be.
Number 7. Before the era of great Simpsons 3D games, there was actually one Simpsons 3D game that never really lasted that long. It was a video game that was considered to be one of the worst video games of all time, but it's actually even ranked on some lists for being one of the worst video games based on cartoons. One of the lists including Watch Mojo's top 10 worst cartoon-based video games. If you don't know, The Simpsons has a popular representation of their games by creating The Simpsons Hit and Run, which was a critical success, being the best Simpsons game ever, and also Crazy Taxi and the recent 2008 Simpsons game. Now, let's talk about the Simpsons game before the plethora of great Simpsons games, aka The Simpsons Wrestling. The Simpsons had a fighting game in the year 2000 known as The Simpsons Wrestling. You had a choice of a series of characters, and you would be fighting to see who would win. It was a popular series. It didn't do as successful as other Simpsons games, but it was panned because of this. It was panned because of horrible controls, which I probably already mentioned, low quality graphics that looked like it was done in a Game Boy Color. Actually, the Game Boy Color even looks better than this. But one thing I would like to actually say is that if you're going to be playing this game with your friends, just pick Flanders, because Flanders can never be beaten. Anyway, that's why The Simpsons Wrestling is number 7 on my countdown. Number 6. Back in the early 2000s, skateboarding games were very popular, and one of those skateboarding games that a lot of people mention and talk about is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and 3, which Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is considered to be one of the greatest PlayStation 2 games and the greatest skateboarding game out there. But due to the failure of Tony Hawk Ride, and also due to many Tony Hawk game failures in the 7th generation, there was one installment that was created by Activision because Activision's line with Tony Hawk games was running out, and they wanted to make a 5th game for this. So there came the unfortunate tragedy of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5.
You ready?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 is a game that was released in 2015 and was ranked by many people to being the worst game of 2015. 2015 was a great year for gaming. It had a lot of new game and content that was created during that time that was very innovative. But why was this the worst of 2015? Was because of a lot of glitches. The graphics looked like crap. Even in the trailer they looked like crap. They're kind of like the modern day Ubisoft, where they show off something beautiful and then it looks like crap. This is why not a lot of people like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. There are some people who do think this game is fun, and people who do protect this game for having a lot of innovative ideas, like the Park Builder, which I thought was a very innovative idea. Not a lot of skateboarder games do that. But the reason why it's my number 6 on my list was because it was disappointing by Pro Skater fans. Number 5.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
My boy, this peace is what all true warriors strive for.
I just wonder what Ganon's up to.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? I hope she made lots of spaghetti. Luigi, look! It's from Bowser. Dear pesky plumbers, the Koopalings and I have taken over the Mushroom Kingdom. The princess is now a permanent guest at one of my 7
Back in 1991, Philips wanted to make a console, so they talked to Nintendo and asked them for the rights of some of their characters. Nintendo accepted and actually was originally going to work with Philips, but Nintendo rejected because they didn't want to work with Philips. The same instance would happen again with the Sony PlayStation, but this time the Sony PlayStation would become popular. Anyway, you guys are all asking the question, why aren't these 2 games any lower on this list? First of all, because number 4. back in the late 90s, Lara Croft became a phenomenal success, but she did get killed off in her original series. So much so that Insidious Games and Core Design decided they wanted to make a game that would totally not work. This game ended up becoming Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness. Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness was criticized in multiple ways, not just by Tomb Raider fans, for being one of the worst games in the series, but also, look at the graphics in the trailer. They look crappy for the time. During that time, we got great looking games from the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube era. While this game looks like crap, it looked mediocre for the time. And for being a PlayStation 2 game, with many great looking PlayStation 2 games out there, it begs the question. First of all, why are they still making PlayStation 2 games when the PlayStation 2 has been out of condition for many years? And second of all, why does this game have to be so bad? In my opinion, I've played it. Some people do defend this game, and I will understand their defense because there are some positives behind this game. It's just, I didn't like it, and it was considered to be the worst in the series. In my opinion, it was one of those weirder platformers that I've played, and it was one of the weird adventure games that I've played. And also the controls were crap too, so yeah. A lot of crap I had to go through that a lot of you guys can probably deal with. This game is probably my highest ranked game on this list, but it's number 4 because it's hated by me and so many other people too. Number 3. In recent years, we've been getting pretty mediocre to bad games based on TVs and movies. But I've never expected Star Wars to do that. A lot of people say that Battlefront, the new one, which came out in 2015, is one of those examples, when in my opinion, it wasn't. I thought Star Wars Battlefront 2015 was actually pretty good, just because, well, one, I didn't play Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which is an example, and it's number 2, I personally love the game. If you don't know what I mean, then this is the game that I'm talking about. In 2012, Star Wars released one of their worst games ever made with a weak story, graphics that looked like they belong on a PS2, known as The Force Unleashed 2. The Force Unleashed 2 didn't expand on The Force Unleashed 1. The Force Unleashed 1 was mediocre, and it had some mediocre gameplay and ideas, while The Force Unleashed 2 was just a quick cash and grab to try to get on the popularity of Star Wars. So much so that I was expecting this game to be good because I saw the trailer for it. The trailer, which is playing on the screen right now, looks very beautiful compared to the game itself. Would I recommend you check this game out, though? No, it's not that good. There is another game on this list that does have the similar trait with the trailer, but we wouldn't get a really good Star Wars game until a while, so we had to deal with this crappy game for a few years, and then we finally got Battlefront, which is hopefully going to change it. Hopefully they release 1313. That's the game that I want. Number 2. Some of you guys were expecting some of your critical bit AAA titles on this list, and a lot of you thinking, hey, Call of Duty Ghosts is on the list. That game sucked. Actually, Call of Duty Ghosts, I'm going to give it a little break because, well, one, I have a lot of explaining to do related to one particular Call of Duty game that came out that I'm going to talk about. Call of Duty Ghosts at least had some great ideas behind it, and it was the last game with boots on the ground, so it's all your guys' fault, the reason why we don't have another boots on the ground Call of Duty game. But the game that we got with Black Ops 2, though, is even worse. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Declassified. If you don't know, Call of Duty Black Ops had a game that was going to try to bring the Vita into the market. But it really didn't do that successful. Compared to other Call of Duty games that were released, this game really didn't do well. Especially since Call of Duty Declassified was considered by many to be one of the worst Call of Duty games of all time. Next to Call of Duty 3 and the unfortunate Ghost. I love Ghost, and I don't know why people hate it, but now I'm getting back on topic. Not a lot of people thought this game was good. Some people thought it was like one of the worst Call of Duty games to be released to date. Why? Due to clunky controls, horrible graphics, and all of the CPUs in this game are easy to kill. Activision might be doing the same mistake with Infinite Warfare, I don't know, but come on, Activision. You know better. You've ran many multiple companies and you have driven them to the ground, and you're doing the same to Call of Duty right now. So my suggestion, Activision, give up the Call of Duty license and give it to Infinity Ward and Treyarch. Let them work together on one Call of Duty game per year. Because if those two do it, then we'll be great. We don't need your cash grab, Activision. You might have been the first gaming company to work with Atari, but we don't want your involvement anymore. Number 1. I had to pick between two games. And a lot of people were expecting, what were those two games? They were both with the Blue Hedgehog, but one of them was newer, and the newer one was worse. Sega and Big Red Button created a game in 2014 that was highly anticipated for a brand new TV show. A lot of people were expecting this to be the reboot that Sonic the Hedgehog needed. Especially since the reboot for the TV show had a lot of funny moments in animation. And I actually like the new TV show, even though it's played at a time where nobody's awake. The only issue is the game. The humor may be mediocre, and the redesigns are unnecessary, but Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is my number 1. Reason why is because Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is that kind of game. That game that is so bad that it's considered to be one of the worst games of all time. Why? Because it's full of very bad, clunky controls, also full of very bad, good graphics, but very bad glitches and bugs that can destroy the game. But the reason why it's number 1 is because the Blue Hedgehog has been hit the most by Sega. And Sega has been trying to revive the Blue Hedgehog since 2006's disaster of Sonic 06. But I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon because of the... Did you guys like that video? Go ahead and click the like and the subscribe button to go ahead and check out more content. If you guys want more videos like this, there will be more in my YouTube channel as well. You can also follow my Twitter and also follow the other YouTubers that I've mentioned, as I mentioned a few seconds ago. Anyway, this was The Truth About. Thank you.